vision and theirs as we talk through these. So Thaddeus will get a little bit more in detail about what we're doing here and how we're going to go do it, but your participation is very important, and we are very, very happy that you're here to do that. So Thaddeus, go ahead.
Awesome. Thanks, Michael. So before Michael goes too far, one of the things that he gave me the great privilege of was making the slide deck tonight. And so that's actually, oh my God. You saw it. It's there.
Yeah. That's my actual driver's license.
That's his actual driver's license, y'all.
I'm 44, and that's been 44 years in the making.
I love it.
I nailed it.
I was like, Michael, I need headshots for the deck. He's like, well, what do you want? I'm like, let's do the driver's license. He's like, yeah, that'd be really funny. He sent it to me, so there it is. So I have the great privilege of being the studio lead for the Fjord Austin team here in Austin. Fjord is part of Accenture Interactive, and so our studio and the 29 studios around the world each year participate in an initiative that we call Fjord Trends. And so the trends are really intended to be a look into what's happening right now. We've got our partners within Accenture and technology to look at kind of what's coming in the next couple of years and 3 to 5 year kind of look ahead. So we take a moment to really see and look and evaluate what's happening right now and what do we need to be thinking about. And so we thought it'd be really great to bring these two together here in Austin, since we've got such a strong technology practice and community here, as well as a design and kind of very intentional audience of kind of human-centered thinking sort of folks here in town. It's a strong part of what, frankly, probably drew a lot of y'all to the city if you're not from here originally. And so that's a lot of what we do as Fjord, and really as part of Accenture as a whole. So tonight, what we thought we'd do, we've done this in a couple of other cities, and it's been a lot of fun. Up in Chicago and in Dallas, we've actually partnered up with some friends, and so here in town, we've got the Cold Town Theater, who are gonna take what we're gonna talk about tonight and bring some life to it, bring a little excitement with some improv comedy. I'll be honest, I was a little skeptical the first time I did one of these up in Dallas. I thought, this is kind of weird, it's gonna feel super corporate, and I have to, It's a lot of fun, y'all. So thanks for coming. I think we're going to have a good time tonight. And so we'll get Mike from Cold Town up here in a second, but we want to start off by talking a little bit about, so there's the trends, there's the stuff that we're going to do. One of the things that's really on our mind is sort of this kind of wave of evolving behavior, right? And so we have across both the technology vision as well as Fjord Trends, kind of a collection of things that are all correlated and kind of complementary together. The one that I think really resonates strongly with when I think about evolving behavior is one that we call silence is gold. And so I'm sure that a lot of you are familiar with the kind of the fatigue of notifications with kind of all these channels and brands trying to hit you up, and here's an ad and on Instagram, and then you get an email, and you're kind of bombarded, right? And so there's this deep desire from us, from people, to just have kind of peace, quiet. And so that's really a call to action to brands and to companies to be really purposeful, to find kind of the right moments to either be quiet or to engage purposefully. We look at some of the challenges that are arising just from the kind of dominance of digital and the pervasive screens that we have in our lives, to the point that it's now a mental health issue, right? And so we've got tools in place to kind of help us start to recognize that, like screen time on iOS. But also, legislation, kind of the right to silence, the right to disconnect in certain countries. And so we think it's really important for companies to really be honoring the kind of health and the kind of personal space and privacy of individuals.
So I'll jump to a couple here on my side of things, and we didn't articulate this, but the books that are available. Our job is not to belabor any of this. Like, our job right now is just to kind of tee up some of this stuff, have fun with it, and make a memory with you guys. So you're going to see in detail those books. The big eyeball page, that's the tech vision, that's the 3-year outlook, and the trend book that you get, that's more of kind of a 6-month view, right? So the one that Thaddeus just did was Silence is Gold, and that's on the Fjord side. So on a couple of the tech vision trends that we're kind of thinking nest well underneath evolving behavior, the only disclaimer I would give you is that evolving we think of it as obviously a slow thing, and what we're all dealing with, and the reason a lot of us have jobs, or if we don't have jobs, we want jobs in this space, is how quickly it's evolving. It seems like a daily evolution, right? But one of them here is this notion of human plus worker. And the idea is that we talk about inclusion and diversity a lot, and that's a huge priority for everybody, bringing their whole self to work. Well, one of the things that we're advising our clients on is make sure when you're thinking of someone bringing their whole self to work, they're bringing not just who they are, but what they can do when enabled with the technology that they live with day in, day out. People are borderline superheroes because of what they can do with this magic piece of glass in their hand. So what we are consulting our clients on and partnering with them on is thinking of new ways and encouraging them to think of new ways because they're the experts in their field. How do you take into account that employee is not just the flesh and blood? They are larger than that. They are everything they bring, including what they can do with technology, including their skills, their hard skills, their soft skills, their knowledge, their networks, all those things. So that's one of the big areas. The other one that's interesting is, and we all have experienced this, is get to know me, which the idea here is with unique opportunities that digital creates. So every one of us is very unique because of that, because of our connection with our phone or what have you. That creates new opportunities, and with those opportunities, companies have to think through the best way to engage with them in a unique way. A lot of this has to do with anticipation. We all are kind of an audience of one, and we want, and now we expect that companies will think of that, but we don't want it to be creepy. So that's kind of the line that we always deal with, right?
Yeah, we'll get into that in another one of the things we'll talk about here tonight. I think the kind of final thing that I'll touch on here before we hand it over to Mike to introduce the crew is the other kind of responsibility that users are putting on on services and businesses that they engage with now, and that's the theme that we've called the last straw, where it's really not enough for companies to kind of be ecologically minded, but they have to tell a story to demonstrate that purposefully. They have to show that it's not just a thing that they're working on, but they've got to have a strong purpose, and they've got to tell that story pretty proudly because consumers are demanding that. They're demanding that the products that they use are produced responsibly, that there's a kind of neutral impact on the environment, things like that. And so you just kind of put all these together, there's a lot of changes that are happening and a lot of kind of rapid expectation shifts that are being put on commercial entities. So we have Mike come up here and introduce the crew, and again, thanks y'all for being here tonight.
Here we go.
Awesome. Cool. Good evening, I guess, after work. How's everyone doing tonight? Yeah, awesome. So this is the Cold Town crew. My name's Mike. This is Stephanie. This is Will, Lily, and Dave. And we're going to get some suggestions from you guys, inspired by what they were talking about, and do some improv scenes loosely inspired by the suggestions we get from you. So I might be floating around asking some of you guys some questions. I promise no one's going to get humiliated or thrown under the bus. So someone, it looks like Sean over there was like, "What? I want to be humiliated." Okay, well, come on up. No, you're in the splash zone, dude. No. So one of the things they were talking about is this idea that companies have to become more aware of all the digital noise they're kind of creating. What's a piece of digital noise that is bothersome to you or you guys find irritating? Anyone could just... Slack notifications. All right. What's that? WhatsApp notifications. Phone calls just in general. That goes back to like 1800s, right? So what's a time, like Slack notifications, what are some instances where those notifications just become too much? Like what's like the worst time that's popped up? Maybe even non-professional, like if it's intruded on your personal life?
Like during a movie you're seeing with your significant other.
Okay, yeah, what movie? And I'm really like, this isn't part of the comedy, I'm just curious. Yeah.
At the draft house.
Yeah.
And it's a 3.5-hour movie.
Yeah.
And I checked my Slack notifications and they were like blowing up.
Yeah, during the movie?
During the movie.
Yeah, that's my biggest fear is watching a movie and then turning my phone back on and seeing everyone trying to get in touch with me. Awesome, thank you so much. So Slack notifications during a movie. Let's give them a round of applause. Awesome.
Hey, I bought a ticket just to ask you a question. Is that okay? Things are blowing up at work. Yeah.
Literally or figuratively?
Well, figuratively.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
that report did not come in.
I got tickets for this movie 4 months ago.
Yeah. I just walked in.
Yeah. We might get kicked out, but give me the bullet points.
Okay. So the report did not arrive from Cincinnati in time, and Frank is freaking out.
Frank,
So
of
what do you
course
want to
he
do
is.
about that?
Hey, babe,
watch this movie.
where's my seat?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Why is your boss here? Dan, I told you to stop.
Sorry.
Damn, I'm in big trouble now.
You're gonna ruin our marriage.
You're gonna ruin our office.
You're gonna let him talk to me like that?
You're gonna let her talk to me like that?
Hey,
Wait, are you gonna let him talk to me like that?
Are you gonna let her talk to me like that?
I'm being pulled in several directions, and it sounds like somebody's trying to shoot into this place from outside. So I'm kind of freaking out.
Dan, I blocked off 3 hours of my husband's time. I haven't seen him in 3 months. Your children don't even know your name anymore.
Mine?
Yes.
Sorry, excuse me, hi. Sorry, I just bought a ticket to come in here. Hi, I'm from the UT Alumni Association. Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to know if you wanted to maybe donate
No.
some money.
No, thank you.
It's okay, just push. The doctor will be here very soon.
Can you give me my phone?
You want your phone right now?
I just need to check my WhatsApp.
Right now?
Yeah, I've got like a chat going with my girlfriends about my birthday.
You're crowning.
I just need to check my WhatsApp.
Okay, honey. Yeah, no problem.
You're crowning. You need to push. He.
Oh, where's my phone? I need to check my WhatsApp.
Okay.
What's your passcode?
What's my passcode? I'm kind of blacking out.
Push, ma'am. Push. Here's your baby.
Oh my God.
Here's your group chat.
Wait, can you put your phone down?
I just need to take a picture. I just need to send a picture to my
Okay.
WhatsApp group.
Hey, I'm the baby right now.
Oh my God, my baby has
Can
a
you-
tiny phone. Girls,
can
you would
you
never believe it. My baby came out with a tiny phone. Isn't that crazy?
It's following this baby on. Oh, it's the baby. Oh, the baby. Follow the baby on Twitter.
Ma'am, you need to hold your baby.
All right, okay, good. We were talking a little bit about this idea of get to know me, brands and companies knowing maybe a little, I think the word that you guys used was creepy amount of, you guys have any stories, or is there a brand or a company you've engaged with that either seemed to know a little too much about you or was maybe trying to form too much of a personal relationship with you? Bernie Sanders. Hold on a second, let me check. Can any of you guys do a Bernie?
I gotta warm up my jaw.
Yeah.
Oh, we got it.
We got a Bernie? Okay, good. So in what ways has a Bernie, yeah, we'll count him as a brand. In what ways? Just with all the email? Okay, all right, cool, awesome. So yeah, Bernie Sanders, yeah, good.
Thank you all for coming. I want you to know 2 things. Number 1, I only send you the top 1% of my texts. So never learn this text. My handlers give me at least 100,000 texts a day to send out. I go through them every single morning. I always send out the top 1 or 2% of those texts to you. I want you to know you're getting those texts.
Okay. So you just came over to my house?
Yes, that's right. I needed to talk to you directly.
How did you find my address?
You're listed in the yellow pages and the white pages. They both work. Not many people use them anymore.
Honey, what is Bernie Sanders doing in our living room?
He wanted to form a personal relationship with us.
I'm going door to door. I am going through the white pages, listed alphabetically, each person in the city. I'm going to talk to every single person in this country,
Well.
one by one. This is like carrier pigeon. Letting me know the next address I have to go to is.
He seems to know a lot about us.
I just wish you had told me because I would have gotten snacks for Bernie and his pigeon. But now I look like a fool, and
Can
he's
you
gonna.
tell me how to get to Westlake Hills?
Oh, he's gonna go to Linda's house. Linda's gonna have a cheese plate. She's gonna have a cheese plate
I
sitting
cannot
out. She
eat
always
cheese.
has a cheese plate
I
sitting out.
cannot eat cheese. It does not do well with my stomach.
She'll have a cheese alternative. She'll have a dairy alternative. She'll have seeds for your little pigeon. I'm spiraling.
Honey, you're embarrassing me in front of Bernie Sanders.
I'm embarrassing you in front of Bernie
Yes.
Sanders.
And his.
I may have come at an inopportune time.
I just don't vote. It's just I don't vote, Bernie. You're a cool guy, and I so appreciate you coming to my house. Are you kidding me? But no, I'm not gonna vote. No.
What can I do to change your mind?
I don't know.
You have a civic opportunity and a civic duty to make your voice heard.
Could you what are some of your policies or whatever?
My policies, I've been talking.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
Everybody knows what my policies are.
Do you want? I've been
I'm
off.
going to take money from the rich and give it to the poor. I'm going to take happiness from the poor and give it to the rich. We're all gonna be rich and
Okay,
happy.
yeah. Well, I'm kind of in the middle somewhere. What do I get?
I don't know. You're in the middle.
Yeah.
I forgot about the middle.
You gotta target the middle.
You forgot about the middle, Bernie. You forgot about the middle. That's why you lost. Yeah, I'm eating my pizza with a fork and knife.
You're obviously rich because you're eating pizza with a fork.
Is your vision going bad, Bernie? It's me. It's the president.
Oh,
What's wrong? You get go
it's
get
the
that checked
mustache
out.
that threw me.
Awesome, guys. Good. Let's welcome back to stage Mike and Thaddeus.
That was a lot of fun. So next thing we want to talk a little bit about, we actually started to touch on a little bit, the idea of trust and responsibility is really important. So silence is gold kind of ties into that, and that notion of like, I'm going to trust you with my notification access, and in return, you're not going to totally blow me up all the time. But it goes a little bit deeper than that too for us. So we've really started to think about data minimalism as a kind of relationship between individuals, users, and services that we subscribe to or that we buy products from, et cetera. And on one hand, it's kind of it's a shift in thinking, because a couple of years ago it was really like big data, all the data. We need all the data to make all the decisions, and we'll be smarter than you. But one of the things we noticed when we were talking with the studios was that in a lot of cases the value exchange really didn't exist. And so when I'm giving data to, if I'm giving location data, yeah, sure, maybe I have car that comes and picks me up or something like that, but what are they doing with the data the rest of the time, and what am I getting from that? And then it really started to kind of flip over, and we said, why am I not being compensated for that data? Why do I get just kind of this one little bit, but then in aggregate, right, the data starts to really mean a lot for businesses. And so that really kind of pushed us to this thinking, like you need to kind of clearly articulate what the value of data is really going to be, and make sure that there's not just a good value exchange, but a demonstration of responsibility, transparency, kind of a respect for privacy, and then the integrity to really follow through with that. Because while you also are possessing this data as a service, you've got a kind of responsibility to protect that, which I think really kind of dovetails in nicely to some of the things Michael will cover off here.
That was not me. We covered off on Get to Know Me, I think, pretty well. One of the other trends called Secure Us to Secure Me is this notion that with cybersecurity, being such a topic right now, the more we want better experiences and the more folks like Thaddeus and many of the folks in this room think up, design, and execute on these big experiences, it's all about having a connected ecosystem and having it very timely, very sophisticated. The problem with that is the more sophisticated and the more connected and the larger that ecosystem, the more vulnerabilities that come with that, right? So the more we expand this footprint of multiple ecosystems, the more we have a larger football field that people and hackers, bad actors can play in and cause all kinds of issues. So it's that cliche term that's true where it's only as strong as the weakest link is the total experience, and that's the case with our security. So the idea here is that the trust, the responsibility between people in organizations and then organization to organization is more and more important. So the more we consult with clients and talk about that and those challenges, that there's very much a can versus should scenario in every moment that we have. We have to think through how we're going to do that and make sure that our clients are prepared not just to do the thing within their proverbial four walls, but outside of it. They need to be good citizens in a way to go and connect with other companies that may touch that ecosystem as they go through it. So it's a big component, the trust and responsibility corporately, and it's very, very tricky.
Yeah, I think can versus should is also interesting in the context of what we're talking about when we share some thoughts around synthetic realities. So you're all familiar with kind of deep fakes and the ability to utilize deep learning to kind of generate content that is strikingly good and in some cases strikingly deceiving. And so one of the challenges that we're faced is, how do we employ technology like that in a way that we should, not necessarily just that we can. So how can we actually utilize that capability to maybe kind of in a way that's honoring the privacy and being respectful, talk to a user in a tone that's going to be well received, kind of recognize, while still on brand tone, be able to speak with a vernacular or vocabulary that will resonate with the user, something that you could only really do when you've got the kind of capability of, synthetic speech or even video. And so, we're really at an interesting time where we're trying to figure out how do we use that creatively, artistically, and kind of in a way that's elegant and beautiful, and doesn't then kind of veer off into the ditch of creepy. So, Michael, you want to come back up?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, awesome. Let's give them a round of applause. Awesome. So we were talking about the idea of data minimalism. Companies have to be better stewards of data and make sure that they know why they're collecting data. What's a time or a company or an interaction you've had with a company, either in person or online, where they've asked for data, then you're like, why do you guys need my zip code, Radio Shack, something like that, right? We've all had that experience. What's a company that's asked for your personal data where you'll be like, why do I need this? Michael's? Yeah.
Shopping apps that ask for your access to your photos.
Okay. So Michael's are a shopping app that's asked for access to your photos. Awesome, cool. That's great. Thank you. Good. Yeah.
Hi, welcome to Hobby Lobby.
Wow, it's so vast.
Are you, a Christmas wreath. Could I mark down that you are a devout Christian?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, and I'll be your personal shopper today.
I went to Catholic school.
Catholic school, okay.
But yeah, sure, mark it down.
Got it. Oh, you like those?
I do.
Those are new.
Yeah.
Yep.
Candy canes.
Are you a believer?
Definitely.
Saint Nick? Or do you call him Santa Claus?
I call him Jolly Old Elf. Is that okay?
Is it?
It's getting a little personal, I think. Don't you think you're getting a little too personal?
It's Hobby Lobby. What's more personal than the hobbies you do alone? In the privacy of your home, we just want to make sure that you have a superior hobby experience when you're trying to unwind after a hard day's work.
Well, that sounds nice.
Unless your hobby is turning into your career as well. Is that what's happening? Are you?
I'm not decorating houses as a career, no.
Cool.
No.
Great. How's your relationship with your parents?
Hi, welcome to Chase. You here to make a deposit?
Yes.
Cool. You just fill out one of those. Oh, great! Fill out one of those slips, and it's a deposit. You've done this before.
I got a job at Hobby Lobby.
Oh, nice.
It's just
Cool.
went in there for a reef, and
Right.
it just escalated.
Cool. Yeah.
So,
Cool. And when you're done filling that out, I just need to open up your phone and check out your pics.
you want to open up my phone?
I just want to open up your phone and do some swipies on your pics. Is that what you call it? Sorry, I've been inside this booth for a long time. It's swipies on your pics. That's kids say that, right?
Well, I know what you mean, but I've never heard that.
All right. Maybe it's just lingo we use around Chase.
Okay, sure.
All right.
Passcode is just a W.
Not very secure.
It's not?
Okay, so we have a 6-inch sub. Would you like chips and a drink?
Yes.
Okay, great. Oh, wonderful,
The
wonderful.
baked ways.
Oh, good choice. Okay. Before we finish that transaction, I just need to ask you a few questions. Are you currently single?
Yes, I am.
Wonderful.
My wife left me because she hates Hobby Lobby.
We got a single. You're gonna want a foot long, buddy.
Honey, I just want to hear about your day. Why do you need to know how much I made last week?
Because I'm your honey. Okay.
Just finish telling me what happened to you today. Why do I need to give you information in order to find out what happened to you?
Give me a figure, because this is how we build a relationship, Terry. You share information about yourself, and then I open up, because that's how we build trust.
I wish the information that you wanted about me was things that I wanted to give you, not things that you demanded from me.
Oh, I'm demanding now. When you're over here asking for my social security number, practically.
No. I want to hear about your day.
That sounds like you want my SSN, honey. I can't just give you that.
I wish you asked about my emotions and my feelings and how I felt my day was, rather than just my hard data.
Fine. Let me. How do you feel about how much money you made last week? You want me to open up and you can't? It's an easy question.
All right. I feel adequate about the money that I made last week. It is just enough to provide us with everything that we have, but nothing that we need.
Just enough, huh?
Did you say adequate?
Yeah.
Adequate? Great.
Who are you?
I'm just collecting some data. Adequate about your
This is
household?
my new Bank of America app assistant.
Hi.
Yeah.
I'm the new Bank of America app assistant.
Her name's Erica,
My
and
name's
she
Erica.
is
Bank of America.
so much more forthcoming
Bank
than
of
you are.
America. That's me.
Are you living with us now?
Not exactly.
Who are you?
I'm Erica. From Bank of America.
Awesome. Good. We were talking about security and creating secure ecosystems and making sure that companies are creating trust in terms of protecting your data. What are some companies that you trust with your data? And another question might be, what are some things you do to secure your data or keep yourself, your digital footprint secure? 23andMe? That's a company you trust with your data? Okay, no. 23andMe is a company you trust with your data. What are some things that you do to keep your data secure? Don't sign the contract.
So recently, I was curious about my ancestry and like family diseases
Yeah.
and stuff, but I didn't want to put my DNA on the line, so I asked my grandpa.
Yeah.
So he was like, sure, put me in there.
So you protected your data by giving someone else's DNA to a company? That answer exceeded my wildest expectations. Great, thank you. Yeah.
Grandpa, could you just spit in this little
Hang on a second. Yeah, I need a drink of water first.
Okay.
I just got home from work.
Okay.
Grandpa,
Hey. Hi, Sean.
can I have your data when you die?
My what?
Your data.
Hang on, I gotta give Missy some spit.
I'm trying to get tickets to Charlie XCX. And if you send in some DNA,
SCX, what?
not SEX, XCX, Grandpa.
sounds
You're so old. Spit in this.
All right, so we ran your genetic report. This is the 23andMe box store.
It's a great pop-up.
Thank you.
Right
yeah,
here
it's
in
pop-up.
downtown
That's,
Austin.
That's the word
How
I'm
crazy.
looking for. Well, it turns out you are 72% Irish.
Cool.
You are, you're 28% German, and also you're a 92-year-old man
Yeah.
with terrible arthritis.
You're telling me. Do I get the tickets to that concert?
Oh,
or?
the free 23andMe giveaway tickets?
Yeah.
Complimentary water for you.
Oh, thank you. I'm parched.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna take that. Just gonna take that.
Oh shit! No.
Yeah,
was she-
sorry. It's,
is she-
it's technically garbage because you
She's
set it
just
down.
gonna throw it away, right?
No,
So
she's
you
gonna-
already have my DNA. She's just throwing
Sorry,
that
you
away.
seem upset. Would you like a tissue?
No. I have this
Looks you look a
shirt.
little scratchy.
What do you mean I'm 99% wealthy?
Says here you're trapped into a 32-year-old pharmaceutical executive.
Okay.
But you're also 72% Irish
Okay.
and 28% German.
That's probably incorrect.
Okay, all right. Listen, we take our whole test processes here very seriously.
I know. That's why you're the best. That's why I came to you to find out my genetic makeup.
Do you want a tissue?
Yes, thank you. At all times, please.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm just gonna take that.
We're making clones.
Hi, I know we haven't talked in a while in person. Face-to-face communication is so weird.
So weird. I'm
Do
just
I,
gonna look this
yeah,
way.
yeah, the side contact thing is weird. So, how's Grandma?
Oh, Grandma's good.
Cool. This isn't working for me. Can we just text each other?
Sure. Thank God.
Couple of Mad Dog margaritas here.
Thank you so much.
You got it?
Got
Thank you
it.
so much.
Oh, waiting tables is so hard these days.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Could you check your texts?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, cheers. I think we're good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Could I actually get a water?
Damn it, my phone died. We could talk. We could talk again. My phone died.
I'm sorry, her phone died. Do you have a backup phone we could borrow?
You-
We're both kind of starting to freak out a little bit.
I'll charge
We
your
don't-
phone for you.
Thank you so much.
Just put my phone. Yes.
Got it. What's your passcode?
Just a W.
What's your number again?
My number?
I'm just worried. I'm just worried I'm gonna be left out of the will.
Oh,
And it's not that I'm not trying to keep in touch with Grandma. She just wants to talk on the phone and ew, you know.
I didn't hear anything you said. I'm sorry. I was just scrolling mindlessly.
Oh, I was talking about Grandma, and she wants to talk on the phone like a freak. And
Grandma, yeah. Oh, God's freak.
yeah, I don't. If I'm left out of the will, I'm kind of screwed, you know.
Yeah. I have an
Decided
idea.
to-
What if we get her to do one of those digital signy things?
Digital signing.
Like we forge her
things.
digital signature.
Oh, that'd be easy. I got Grandpa to spit in a tube, no problem.
Awesome. Let's welcome back to stage Mike and Thaddeus.
Wow. The part I hate is coming back up.
Yeah,
after,
we're the
after I do
worst.
that,
Yeah,
so.
let's make this fast.
So trust and responsibility. Don't trust your grandkids, for sure. Yeah, these.
Wait for it.
There we go. Ecosystems.
There it is.
So yeah, the kind of last sort of meta theme that we want to talk about tonight, we touched on a little bit here, the idea of kind of the last straw and the kind of proactive, purposeful, intentional kind of communication of how you are really being a good steward of kind of the planet and being eco-conscious. But there's also this sort of interconnectivity that begins to exist when you do that, and you're kind of forming partnerships and figuring out how to participate, in a circular economy. And I think for us here in Austin, one of the things that we've seen, especially over the last 18 to 24 months, is really the emergence of these kind of connected but sort of also disconnected experiences, specifically in travel. When we look at scooters and kind of, we've had Favor and things like that for quite a while. But what's emerged from those kind of offerings, as we've talked about those as a worldwide studio, is really kind of the realization that there's a shift in that last mile. And so as we kind of wrestle with changes in transportation and in energy, there's actually a really great opportunity. Talked about the 23andMe pop-up. It's actually interesting because there are a lot of companies that are actually struggling with, like, how do we actually kind of get a presence that people can come into and participate? Nike's got box stores that they do, curbside delivery and things like that. And so, all of a sudden there's this expectation like, hey, I can kind of get your thing to me and I don't have to even wait for it. You just app and it's here. And so one of the recommendations we're really making to clients is, explore what that kind of last mile story is for your brand, but also don't try to do it yourself. Try to find, somebody to partner with, find another, kind of entity that's already in that game, that's already got logistics figured out and that kind of network and an ecosystem in place. And then that kind of gets pretty broad quickly, find other places where you can participate and kind of be present, but don't try to do that all on your own.
Another good example that made me think of in the books, you'll read about this on My Markets, which another way to think of this is momentary markets on the Tech Vision. This example, I think, personifies it pretty well. It's essentially the idea that the most sophisticated folks in the future will figure out how to be not just personalized, but hyper-personalized, and not just hyper-personalized, but to do that in these very short, fleeting moments that can unfold quickly and then go away quickly. They can differentiate in a moment in a way that other folks can't. And this is not an exact example, but it was, I thought it was pretty good. General Motors has figured out that on the manufacturing line in certain factories, they have incredibly expensive tools. They can't have those tools and copies of those tools ready to go because they're so expensive and there's not enough space for them. But what they have figured out is how to set up a sophisticated 3D printing apparatus so that if I'm a worker and my tool breaks in the moment and I've got three or four more hours on my shift, I can 3D print that tool to finish out my day, and then they can order that tool to come in the next day. But they haven't had that 3 or 4 hours of downtime, right, as a result. So it's really like these momentary markets, and so that's kind of an enterprise version, but we all have these moments, and Thaddeus and I thought of one about what is it when you want to go to a location, but it's about to close. Google pushes a notification to you. We've all seen that. Oh, it closes the next time. You may not have enough time to get there. What we haven't seen, but could be an opportunity, hint, hint for somebody, is to figure out, wait, you can't make it because you live 30, 40 minutes away, but Favor could. And so it's again, that ecosystem piece, like someone thinking that kind of that last mile on how to make those connections for consumers and then make that a differentiated thing that they can do on the go forward compared to their competition.
Nail it. Yep. Thank you.
Get there.
Awesome. So they were talking about creating ecosystems where we can kind of bring in new technologies to help create some new innovation. One of the things that there was also in there was the ahead of the curve, right? The idea that we can kind of go in and find ways to leverage technology to help improve upon existing urban infrastructure. Lyft and Uber and so forth, taking advantage of it. What's maybe a piece of city infrastructure that you would never expect to take advantage of new digital technology or something? So not transportation like cab driving, right? Because we know that Lyft has already kind of moved in there. But what's something that happens in a city that we'd never expect to take advantage of new technology like that? A park, awesome, cool, great. A park. Take Zilker Park. Oh, Zilker Park specifically. Okay, awesome. I love it. Zilker Park has now been Ubered. Awesome.
Okay.
I'm just going to program this Frisbee
All right.
real quick.
Pretty cool.
So I think if you just go, I'm going to program it to go to that tree over there.
Okay, that tree?
Yeah, so just stand over there, and
Okay.
I will just make sure this Frisbee gets to you.
Great. How many steps?
It looks like it is 20 feet that way
Okay.
and 3 feet to the right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I'm ready.
You ready?
This tree, right?
That's it.
Okay. So easy. Wasn't very fun.
Good girl. Good girl. All right. Let's try over there
Over there?
by those volleyball
Over there?
players. Yeah,
Those volleyball players?
we're gonna screw up their game.
Okay. Over here?
Yep. Just,
Dad,
just
Dad,
run around in between
Dad,
them.
Dad,
Perfect.
Dad,
Hey, there's a dog over here. Whose dog is this?
I don't like it, Dad. It's too easy. We didn't even disrupt the game.
Good girl. Good girl.
Why can't you be a good boy? I have the app. Just play along. I'll play Frisbee with
Good.
you. Just
Because I'm a bad boy. Woof.
should have never adopted
Woof.
you.
Woof.
It's just 12 steps that way. It's just. Oh, you're so cute.
Hey,
This is so cute. Why aren't you
I know.
this cute?
I know. I know.
because I'm a bad boy. Also, you should know I'm on surge pricing right now.
How do you expect to? You're on. Okay.
Yeah,
you're
I mean, I'm in high demand.
You're in high demand.
Yeah.
You won't play Frisbee with me the real way, but you're in high demand.
People like my bad dog attitude.
That's all I want you to. That's all.
Tweet, no running. Stop running. Where are you from? You lived here long? All right, rate me. 5 stars?
We see that this lifeguard's a hologram.
When he glitches, he turns into Tupac and then back again.
Oh my God, I can't swim. What's gonna happen? Oh no.
You're pretending.
I'm drowning. Oh my gosh, you're so hot. Oh my gosh, I'm
Are you
drowning.
pretending
Glug,
to
glug.
drown?
Glug, glug. Help. Oh my God. Help.
Write another one.
Okay, awesome. We're going to do some in-the-moment, on-demand customization and really kind of use all of our tools to create some hyper-customization right now. So I'd love for, can I get 2 audience volunteers to come up on stage with us? I promise no one's going to, yeah, awesome. Coming up, yeah, no, not you. I promise no one's going to get humiliated. This is super fun, super easy. Just one more person. Yeah, come on up. Go, give him a round of applause. Awesome.
Dave. you.
And you guys, actually, can we
Omer?
grab one of your microphones for Gil? Is that it? Awesome. So I'm going to ask. I need to ask someone a couple of questions about their personal life. Nothing too deep, very loose, right? Nothing too intrusive. Does anyone want to just share, answer a couple questions about themselves so that we can use this in this improv game? Awesome. I saw your hand up first. Awesome. Hi. What's your name? Julieta? Awesome. Everyone give a round of applause for Juliet. Juliet, what do you like to do for fun when you're not working?
Movies or going out to eat.
Yeah.
I love sitting.
Just sit.
I love a good sit.
Yeah.
Sitting, that's my
Yeah. Just sit, engage with some art, maybe go out to a movie. Yeah. Who's one of your closest friends, someone that you like to hang out with, and maybe give like 3 words to describe them?
I mean, I'll do Monse. Like, she's cool, she's fun, she talks a lot, like me. She's really into clothes and like fashion.
Good. Awesome. And what was your name again? Monse. And she talks a lot, is what I heard at you. Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it. That's awesome. What's one other fun fact about you that is like a good icebreaker fact that if you're meeting someone for the first time? Or not so fun fact?
I mean, my name's kind of complicated.
Uh-huh.
My last name's Nelson, my first name's Julieta Nelson, or Julieta, so it's like, I have to be like Juliet sometimes, be like Julie.
You don't have to.
You do you, Julieta.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, it's kind of a good conversation topic.
Yeah.
I have Julieta, and then they'll be like, I don't know what to say, so I'll be like,
Awesome.
oh, Juliet, and they're like, what's going on?
Awesome.
Like, I just played them or something, and then we talk about it for like 5 minutes, and then we will talk about what we do, so.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Do you guys have any more questions for?
What do you do exactly?
Oh, that's a good question. Thank you.
Like ending my internship tomorrow with Accenture, and I go to UTSA, so.
Yay, Roadrunners.
Yeah.
What do you study at UTSA?
Finance.
Finance. Awesome. And can I get a suggestion from anyone in the audience?
Oh,
of
one more
Oh,
question.
yeah. I'm sorry.
And so when you watch TV, what are you watching right now?
Yeah.
What's on the queue, Julieta?
This is hard. Okay, so I mean, The Office is always a good staple.
Great.
Yeah.
'Cause I can't think of what I'm watching.
That's great.
That's great. That's
Perfect.
perfect. And can we get a suggestion of an object someone might use every day, like a toothbrush, not toilet paper because we get that all the time, but something, an object that people use frequently, if not every day? I heard fork back there. I heard fork. Awesome. So we are going to engage in some hyper customization, and we are going to design a fork that's especially made just for Julieta. Let's give a round of applause. You guys are going to participate. The only thing you guys have to do is if you throw out an idea, all you got to do, you can throw out an idea at any time. I'm going to be asking questions. And if someone throws out an idea, the only thing you have to do is say yes to that idea like it's the best idea you've ever heard. You guys ready? Let's give them a round of applause. Awesome. So, all right, guys. So last night, we stayed up all night working on this fork for Julieta. We put so much work into it, but unfortunately, I drank too much last night and blacked out and forgot everything that we did for this fork right here. So let's talk about first of all, what did we decide to call this product? What did we decide to call this product?
Forkieta.
Forkieta, yes, yeah. The Forkieta, yes. Forkieta, and we had a tagline. We had a really sweet tagline for this fork, and I forgot it.
We'll talk about it for 5 minutes.
Forkieta. We'll talk about it for 5 minutes.
5 minutes, yes. Now obviously, we know our target demographic, obviously, but how are we going to sell this to Julieta? How are we going to sell this? Like, what are we going to package this? How are we going to package this so it attracts the attention of Julieta?
You only need 1 fork to eat.
Yes, yeah. So it'd be like, attention, Julieta, you only need 1 fork, and this is it.
Amazing.
Yes, yeah. Awesome.
We're gonna do an ad buys only on The Office on Netflix. So you have to get through the ad in order to get to the next episode.
It's going to be in the office.
What's that?
It's going to be in the office.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, show up.
They put it in the Jello like the stapler. They put it in the Jello.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes. So just like product placement throughout the office, plus Netflix first ads embedded in the actual shows. No one's ever done that before.
It's revolutionary.
It's revolutionary. What features does this fork have that no other fork has that make it customized just for Julieta?
5 times.
There's five kinds. Yes, 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 yes.
It pronounces her name for her.
Okay, yes, it's a fork that pronounces the name for her.
Very fashion forward.
Yes.
Very fashionable fork.
It's a very fashionable.
It's rose gold.
It's rose gold.
Oh, it's rose gold. Nice.
Talks at her.
So the fork pronounces Julieta's name at her.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So walk me through.
It has the awkward conversation with strangers for her,
Yes.
so she doesn't have to.
Yeah.
And she gets to eat while that's happening.
Yes.
Yeah. So she can kind of do like double duty. She doesn't have
she
to.
doesn't have to waste her time.
Yeah.
She can refuel.
Yeah. Walk me through the commercial that we set up that's going to be embedded in the office. Walk me through the commercial.
it'll
What's
be
the
like,
opening shot of the commercial?
Having an awkward first date or a weird family dinner.
And that's the voiceover?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, yeah.
We fade up on a fork, and it's just sitting.
Okay, yeah. It's just a fork that sits.
Yes.
Fork never stands alone.
Okay, yes, yeah. The fork never
The
stands
fork
alone.
never stands alone.
Okay. What's the next thing that happens in the commercial?
There's embedded, I don't know, this is a deep cut for me, but there's a song by Nelson playing in the background.
Who
The underscore is Nelson.
Okay.
Nelson, the twins.
The blonde guys, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm this little watching on TV now.
Mbop?
No, not Mbop Dave.
That's not Nelson?
What's the next?
Yes.
That's Hanson. Are you
That's
kidding
right.
me?
That's
No, they're doing Mbop.
Mbop.
Nelson.
Nelson's doing Mbop.
Nelson's
Okay.
doing a cover
Nelson's
of
doing a
Bob.
cover of Hanson.
Yeah. Okay. And
That's
what's,
very meta.
What's the next thing? What's the next thing that happens in this commercial?
You go to the office Christmas party where Michael is bringing presents for everybody, and they're doing like white elephant, and the forks in all of the presents.
Okay, yeah. So we got a celebrity endorsement. We've hired Steve Carell to be in this commercial. This is getting expensive, but you know what? It's for
She's
Julieta.
worth
She's
it.
worth it. What's the last thing that happens in this commercial?
They're all sitting around eating the Christmas cake.
With their
Where's the
forks.
fork?
With their
Talking.
with their forkieta.
And none of them,
With
yeah,
the
none of
forkieta.
them are
Forkieta.
talking
Forkieta.
to each other.
With
They're
the
talking.
forkieta.
The forks are talking at them.
Okay. Awesome. And you guys came up with a jingle last night, a song.
We did,
If you guys
we did.
wouldn't mind just kind of turning inward so you can see all each other's faces. And they're going to sing this jingle that they came up with last night for Forkieta. And a 1 and a 2 and a...
Is that how the song goes?
All right, guys, give them a round of applause. Thank our audience volunteers. Thank you guys so much. Mike and Thaddeus, welcome back up. Awesome. Good. Cool. Welcome back to stage, Mike and Thaddeus. Let's give them a round of applause.
It's really great. So, always forget to hit this thing here. So we thought we'd just give you kind of a real quick fly through kind of a couple of the other things we didn't get a chance to touch on here tonight. We talked quite a bit about silence is gold and the last straw, data minimalism ahead of the curb. We've got a couple others here. Encourage you to grab the materials. The inclusivity paradox really looks at the shift. I think a lot of times, especially in the design community, we talk a lot about personas and trying to get kind of in the minds of the folks that we're designing products and services for. But the shift that we're really starting to see is that it's less about personas and trying to kind of identify people and get to the mindsets that users are in. And so we really can't define users by the kind of demographic that they fit into or the way they align or political thinking, but it's really about kind of where they are purposefully in the moment that they're going to use your service, and less about kind of who they are outside of that. Again, ties really nicely back into we just need to know this data in order to provide this service and this functionality, and we'll respect the rest of you. Space Odyssey is really an exploration, around the kind of way. The way we use space and the kind of evolution of the mix of digital and physical. And then we talked a little bit also about synthetic realities and the fact that we really can't believe anything we see anymore.
So it's really not fair. Thaddeus got the ethereal, zany, colorful pictures, and I got dirty feet on that one. So I think the only one I really didn't cover off on was this first one with again the creepy eyeball. Is it's called DARK. It's just it's an acronym. So it's essentially, and there's a spectrum of how far along we are in each of these technologies. But all of the clients that we're talking to, in some form or fashion, in the next 3 years, they have to have a point of view, and they have to have a plan for how they're going to deal with, address, or not address these things. So the first is distributed ledger, which is blockchain. The other is artificial intelligence, which we're all pretty familiar with, I think. The next is extended reality, which is both virtual reality, mixed reality, augmented reality, and all the kind of incarnations of that, how they're going to use it, how they're going to, again, give those special moments to clients. And the last one is quantum. So obviously quantum is very early, but there are a few folks who actually know what the implications are going to be, and they're going to be really significant if we know how to handle it, right? So we're trying to consult with clients and make sure that we're doing a nice dance there and using all of these technologies sensibly. If you have any other questions, I won't belabor all this stuff, but look at the books. They're really strong. We encourage you guys to look at it and go online as well. They go in depth. There's some video content and other stuff. And if you have any questions after this, get food, get a drink, come talk to us, and we will be here.
Yeah. So just real quick, kind of thanks y'all. I want to give a shout out again to Mike
Absolutely.
and the troop here. Maybe
Thank
y'all
you
just
guys.
come back up here. Give these guys a hand. I think on behalf of the Fjord Studio here in Austin, our friends in Accenture, we just want to thank you all for coming. Thank you to Capital Factory for hosting us here tonight. Mike, Cold Town Theater crew, anything you kind of want to share?
Shows 7 nights a week, improv classes. Come check us out. We're up.
Corporate events, we can come to your work and teach you how to do things.
Nice.
Follow us on Instagram. Cold Town Theater.
Yes, and share your data with them. All right.
All your data, share it all.
Thanks y'all for coming. We'd love to stick around and chat, get to know y'all.
Yep. Thanks, y'all.